The Great Flood of the 100-Acre Wood, a story based on In Which Piglet is Entirely Surrounded by Water, from Winnie-the-Pooh, by A. Milne, 1926. The rain had been falling for days in the 100-Acre Wood, turning the familiar paths into rushing streams and the peaceful brook into a roaring river. Christopher Robin watched from his window as the water rose higher and higher, wondering about all his friends scattered throughout the wood. Pooh Bear sat in his house under the big tree, watching the water creep closer to his front door. He had been doing his stoutness exercises when he noticed his reflection wavering not in his mirror but in a puddle that had formed on his floor. "Oh, bother," he said thoughtfully. "I don't remember inviting a pond to live in my house." The water continued to rise, and soon Pooh found himself floating on a chair, then on his table, and finally clinging to a large branch near his ceiling. Through his window, he could see that the entire 100-Acre Wood had become the 100-Acre Lake. Meanwhile, in his beech tree home on the other side of the wood, Piglet was having a much more frightening time. Being a very small animal, he had climbed as high as he could in his tree, but the water kept rising. He could see nothing but water in every direction, and he began to feel very lonely and scared. "Help!" squeaked Piglet in his small voice, though he doubted anyone could hear him over the sound of rushing water. Oh dear, what shall I do?" From his high perch, Pooh spotted something floating by his window. Christopher Robin's green umbrella, turned upside down and bobbing along like a little boat. Quick as a flash, which for Pooh was rather slow, he grabbed the umbrella as it passed. "How very convenient," Pooh mused, settling himself carefully in the upside-down umbrella. "Someone has left me a boat just when I needed one most. How thoughtful." Using a branch as a paddle, Pooh set off across the flooded wood. The umbrella made a surprisingly good boat, though it did tend to spin in circles when he wasn't paying attention. He paddled past Owl's residence in the chestnuts, where Owl was sitting quite comfortably on a high branch, looking rather pleased with his waterfront view. "I say, Pooh," called Owl, "where are you going in that curious vessel?" "I'm going to find Piglet," Pooh called back. "He's probably feeling rather wet and worried." Indeed, Piglet was both wet and worried. He had written a message saying, "Help, Piglet, me," and put it in a bottle, hoping someone might find it, though he wasn't entirely sure how bottles worked in rescue situations. As Pooh's umbrella boat came spinning around a clump of trees, he heard a familiar small voice calling for help. There was Piglet clinging to the top of his beech tree, looking very small and frightened. "Piglet," called Pooh, "would you like a ride in my boat?" "Oh, Pooh!" cried Piglet with relief. "I was hoping someone would come, but how do I get down to you?" "Jump," said Pooh simply. "I'll catch you." This required considerable courage from Piglet, but he trusted his friend completely. With a tiny squeak of determination, he jumped. Pooh caught him perfectly, and soon they were both sitting in the upside-down umbrella, spinning gently toward higher ground. "Pooh," said Piglet as they floated along, "how did you think to use an umbrella as a boat?" "I didn't think of it," said Pooh honestly. "It thought of itself. I just happened to be there when it did." Together they floated to safety, where Christopher Robin was waiting with hot cocoa and dry towels, having watched their rescue from the shore. This tale, based on A. Milne's timeless classic Winnie-the-Pooh, 1926, captures the gentle wisdom and friendship that have made these characters beloved for nearly a century. It demonstrates how creativity, bravery, and loyalty can triumph over frightening circumstances, while maintaining the sweet simplicity and humor that make Milne's stories perfect for readers of all ages. The story reminds us that sometimes the best solutions come not from overthinking, but from simply being present and caring for our friends.